Also, Ruderman.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Steve. It's an honor to be here. I'm going to be brief because I know we got a lot of specific and urgent things to talk about. But I think it's my role to just kind of summarize a little bit about what happened with a couple of geothermal bills, geothermal-related bills in the legislature in the last week. Some of you may have read about it today in the paper, and it's a kind of confusing situation. We had a couple of bills relating to geothermal planning that both kind of came to a head this week, and one was HB 106, which was a companion measure to a bill that I introduced in the Senate. And that was essentially started off as repeal Act 97, which would have restored the subzones and would have restored county oversight into the planning process. That evolved into the current incarnation of HB 106, which only had the county planning restored. So it was about half of the bill it started off to be, but we were still very much in favor of it. By we, I mean people like Bob Patrici, Harry Kim, Pono Alliance, which includes so many people here who have worked really hard. And that's where I was taking my cues from, because you guys have been studying it. There was also a competing bill, HB 932, that was a series of things put together, basically aimed at fast-tracking future geothermal developments. Well, what happened is it came down to a little power struggle at the end, and myself and an adversary fought each other to a draw, I think. And you know, the good bill that we wanted didn't pass, but the bad bill that we were really dead set against also didn't pass. So it's an unfortunate situation. You know, the majority of the people there actually wanted this bill, but we couldn't get past the power structure the way it's set up. I think that we will be able to do more of it next year. And so as of right now, Act 97 is still in place, and nothing has changed with regards to that. My other bills related to the geothermal issue died long ago. One of them is being resurrected as a resolution that's going to come up this month, and that has to do with an expression that we don't want fracking used in Hawaii. And I think many of us feel that way, and the reason it's relevant to geothermal is there's a lot of enhanced geothermal systems being proposed, perhaps for our next steps, that includes fracking. Fracking includes a whole other level of damage to our environment, in addition to anything else. So that's where the legislation stands now. Both those bills remain dormant to be picked up again in the next legislative session. So I'm a freshman legislator. I was able to maneuver so far, and then honestly I was outmaneuvered at the very end. That's what happened. I really thank Harry and Bill Chikasuya, who came over there to testify that day, and all the work that Bob, Steve, and all you guys in Pono Alliance have been doing in that regard. I wanted to mention, you know, in terms of the recent event, I was fortunate or not to be in Honolulu that day. And I'm not the expert on what happened. You guys will hear much more about that. But there's a couple of points that are really obvious to me. I'm really thankful that people from PGD are here and Civil Defense to hear this. Because I personally know people who smell hydrogen sulfide miles away in different communities that were miles away. And yet all the health monitors seem to register 0. And there's something really deeply, fundamentally wrong with that picture. And I hope we can get people to take it seriously and correct that before the next event. The other thing that's deeply, fundamentally wrong was a complete lack of notification of the neighbors. And you guys know that better than me, but no matter what else we think about geothermal, those two things show something wrong with the system we have today, and it needs to be fixed for basic, basic civil protection, so we can be safe in our homes. And the last thing I want to say, and I look forward to talking to Mr. Yasho at length about this in the future, but regarding future planning of geothermal, the one thing that's clear to me is that for many, many reasons, I really hope that the future of geothermal and our next developments are not in Puna. I really hope that they're in Pono where the demand is and where the geology is stable and where we can locate it away from residences. And if I keep telling people that if I wanted geothermal to succeed in Hawaii, I would make sure that the second geothermal plant was not controversial like the first one is. And that's not going to happen in Puna because we are all here. Thank you very much.